So before we get into our questions, let's introduce our panelists. So first we have here Miss Evora Bentley. She's a single mother with 3 daughters, and as an author, writer, philanthropist, she is determined to make an impact in the world. She is purpose-driven, and she is the CEO and founder of Overcoming the Battle, which is to empower and encourage others all over the world to overcome battles of adversity in life that has kept them from becoming who they are. She also would like to encourage others to search and discover their potential inside of them so they can walk through their purpose and live a purpose-driven life. She also enjoys reading, writing, spending time with her girls, and putting smiles on their faces. And her motto is determination plus confidence equals success. Y'all come on and give a round of applause for Ms. Next panelist we have tonight with us is Dr. Caroline Caldwell. She is the founder of New Mind Health and Care, which is a nonprofit re-entry program for people who have a criminal history and services for their families, including mental, behavioral, and employment services. She believes that all people have value. Y'all come on and make a round of applause for my girl, Dr. Caroline Caldwell. Next for the panelists, we have Miss Stacy Thompson. She is the manager of grassroots mobilization for Tell Them South Carolina and the New Morning Foundation, the Leaving Policy and Advocacy Network, striving to improve the quality of reproductive health policies in South Carolina. She is an expert in the youth development teen pregnancy prevention field with over 16 years experience in her career field, and she's the former executive producer or director for Impact, which is a community-based organization implementing effective teen pregnancy prevention programming. She earned her bachelor's degree from the Southern Western University and a master's of science in youth development at Clemson University. And her mantra is, and Clemson's playing tonight, by the way, her mantra is, don't allow someone else to determine who you are. So y'all come on and give a round of applause for our next panelist, Miss Stacy Thompson. I want to take an opportunity, of course, to have the visionary of tonight to come around, Miss Leslie Sullivan. Come on up, Leslie. She's 29 years old, and she loves to be inspired by powerful women and men that is like-minded. She's going to take an opportunity to tell you about the vision and the mission of Let's Talk About It. Yeah, that's right. Y'all give her a hand.
First off, I want to thank y'all so much from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to come out and support this powerful movement. I prayed y'all here, and I'm so thankful because y'all could have been anywhere, but for y'all to take the time to support a positive movement means so much to me. And the reason I came up with it is because you can change lives one conversation at a time. And so just us all coming together, empowering and uplifting each other. So I'm so excited, and I hope y'all enjoy it.
All right. So you heard from none other than the visionary of Let's Talk About It, Miss Leslie Sullivan. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So as we begin with the first question for our panelists, I want to make sure you all have the microphone here. Our first question is going to be, why is forgiving so important? Why is forgiving so important?
Forgiving is so important because it can cause you to get in a place where bitterness, resentment, and so much anger can just build inside of you. Sometimes it can be so bad where you can actually hate someone. If you don't forgive someone, it also can keep you to a place where you cannot even move forward in life. And let's say someone else comes into your life and try to present the same opportunity when that other person messed up. If you're holding unforgiveness towards them, then you never know what the outcome would be for the next person that comes into your life. It's just very important to forgive because it can put you in a place in life from where you just stay stuck there where instead of moving forward like you should.
All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so moving right along to our next panelist, Dr. Caroline Caldwell. Why is forgiving so important?
I think the first thing that's really important for you to know about forgiveness is that it's not for the person who you think you need to forgive. It's for you. When you forgive someone, you are set free. When you forgive someone, you are no longer held hostage to what was, to what you perceive something to be, to what someone thought something was different. You are truly free. That's number one. The second thing I want you to know about forgiveness is that it's not only something that you give, it's something that you too will need to receive. So there's an acronym that I use for my clients that's called FHB. And it stands for Fallible Human Being, which we all are. Each and every one of us make mistakes. We do things we're not supposed to do. And I don't mean accidentally. I mean accidentally on purpose. That's what we do. We get mad, we strike out, we mean to hurt people. And when you do that, when you offend, you would hope that someone would extend forgiveness to you. So that in itself is a reason for you to want to forgive someone else. So to me, forgiveness is important because it makes you free. And forgiveness is important because once you get it, it's something that will return to you when you need it.
All right, so let's talk about it. So moving to our next panelist, Miss Stacy Thompson. Why then, again, is forgiving so important?
To me, first and foremost, forgiving is important because God forgave me. I think about everything that I've done against Him, I've done to myself, against myself, and God forgave me. So, forgiving is important because if He can forgive me, I can forgive someone else. And also, it's important because we need to remember that we have to forgive ourselves for what we've done to ourselves. And, Dr. Caldwell talked about, remembering to forgive others because that forgiveness comes back to you. A lot of times we don't want to forgive because we've not forgiven ourselves what we've done to ourselves. A lot of things that have happened to us in life, we've opened ourselves up, we've put ourselves into positions or into places to allow things to happen to us. So you have to forgive yourself for what you've done to yourself and what you've allowed to happen to yourself. And when you forgive yourself, your heart is open, your heart is healed, and you can forgive others and see others differently.
That's good news. So let's talk about it. So again, each and every comment that's being made tonight as we are addressing these questions is hopefully in some way to help you to become a better you. So again, we want to thank the panelists for those comments as we talked about, first of all, why is forgiving so important? So now that we've talked about why forgiving is so important, let's switch gears and go to, well, what happens if you get stuck on why something happened? Why did this happen to me? Why is this going on? So we're going to talk about it. We'll start with you, Miss Stacy, since you have the mic. What happens when you get stuck on why something has happened?
When you get stuck on why, that's just it. You're stuck. You're stuck asking a question that may never get answered. You may never know why. A lot of times, we go through things and, I think about, even right now, a lot of things that I went through in life, the why was for today or for tonight, for me to be here tonight. I went through things, faced oppositions and faced challenges in my life to be here tonight, to be able to share. So this may be the why for a lot of things that I've dealt with in my life. So I've learned early on not to question, not to sit there and ponder on why. I just know, okay, maybe this is something that I have to go through, and it may not just be for me, it may be for someone else. So, you know, just questioning why a lot of times gets you stuck and you don't move forward and you don't move out of what you're in.
All right, so let's talk about it. All right, well, Dr. Caldwell, we're going to talk about it again with you. What happens when you get stuck on why something's happened?
One of the things I think, again, is human nature. We're curious, right? That's how we solve problems. That's how we figure stuff out. It's that natural curiosity to want to know why something is. But when you attach that curiosity and why to your personal life and your personal problems, it does just what Stacy said it does. It makes you stuck. So let's define why. Why is a mystery, wrapped inside an enigma, dropped inside an abyss, which is a black hole. So if you're looking for why, that's really what you're doing, is you're going into a black hole that never ends, that you'll never really get an answer to. So if it moves you forward, what I'd like to say is just give why a definition. Why did so-and-so hurt me? Because it was Tuesday. How about that?
Well,
That's a why. That's the answer to the why. You know, why did I do X, Y, Z? Well, because that day I wore my hair in a bun. I should have wore it in curls. It doesn't matter, is my point. The why does not matter. What does matter are the words that move you forward. The action words. What about something? How about something? When about something? And where about something? If you answer those questions, you will change. You will move. Something will happen. But if you use why, again, mystery, enigma, black hole. Stay away from that. It's not a good look.
all right, so let's talk about it. All right, Ms. Yvonne, again, as we're bringing the question back to you, what happens when you get stuck on why?
I just want to go off of what Caroline and Stacy also said. If you just continue to ask yourself why, you get stuck in a place. So instead of asking why, what was I supposed to get out of this? What was I supposed to see? What was I supposed to learn? Get curious into seeing why that happened, and that the fact that it probably happened was to move you forward from the situation, for you to learn from it. You can't get stuck on why. If you get stuck on why, once again, you're just going to be going around in circles. Life is just passing by. Life is just passing by, and you've missed out so much because you're sitting back wondering why. Sometimes we may not never find out why. Sometimes we do find out why. But instead of getting stuck on why, let's just move forward, because it's a mystery. You may not never find out why.
All right, sounds good. Y'all enjoying yourselves so far? Yeah. So I tell you, we just allowing them to be able to speak from their heart, speak from experience, just the knowledge and wisdom that they're sharing. As we're talking about it tonight, just also being able to give you an opportunity that you can as well be able to engage with this conversation. So remember, you do have your index cards. So if there's something that's being said tonight that you want to piggyback off of to be able to ask a question, ask it anonymously. Or if you want to be able to stand up even amongst the crowd at some point, we will give you that opportunity. So make sure you're jotting down your thoughts and your questions as we continue to let's talk about it, okay? Well, at this time, we're going to continue on with our questions and to start to ask our panelists, how do you find drive? And I know we can all relate to this, y'all, but how do you find drive when so many people around you are naysayers and they are not supporting your vision? Let's talk about that.
The first thing you have to do is separate yourself from the naysayers. You cannot be around people who are naysayers in something that you believe in. Because it's important to know that what you believe is what's going to cause it to come to pass. You have to separate your people that have nothing positive to say about what you believe in. Okay, that's fine. You don't see what I see, but I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep moving because I know what I'm passionate about and I know what I believe in. So It's a hard thing to do. It is. It is so hard at times, but you have to think about it. Do you want to grow, or do you want to stay where you are? So you cannot stick around naysayers. I love you. I'll see you from a distance, but I know what I believe in, what I'm passionate about, and I'm determined to make it come to pass.
All right. So again, as we're talking about, how do you find the drive when so many people around you are naysayers and they are not supporting your vision?
One of the first things that I think you would want to do is, when you talk about vision, is be cemented in that vision. And how do you do that? Well, you become very confident in what it is that you want to do, and you wrap your mind around it, meaning that you talk yourself into your vision every second of every day. I know lots of women who have their own business, and I'm going to shout one out because that's my girl, Social Butterfly Boutique. We talk often about strategy, and one of the things that we talk about is that we see our vision, we write down our vision, we talk it out to ourselves. We know what we're going to do next week for what it is that we want. And then what we do is we surround ourselves, as Stacy said, with people who are like-minded. We surround ourselves with people who see where we're going, and they want to go with us. And if they see us taking a left when we should take a right, they say, no, baby, you said you wanted to be over here. So you have to make sure that you build a team for yourself, a team that supports you, that allows you to say, this is where I want to go, and they say, I'll go with you. When you see a naysayer, let me tell you something. If a person shows you who they are, believe them. So if they're in your camp, and you know what you know, and they don't want to support that, then you let them stay where they are and be who they are, and you move on. So how do you handle a naysayer? Snip, snip. That's how you handle a naysayer.
All right. So once again, our question for the panelists is, how do you find drive when so many people around you are naysayers and they are not supporting your vision?
You have to have that drive within. That drive has to come within, and you have to realize it's your vision, and nobody else is going to see it because they're not supposed to see it, because that vision was given to you. So you are the only one that's seeing that. You know where you're going. Everybody else doesn't know where you're going. And as she said before, you may have to do some snip, snip, because everybody's not supposed to go with you. Everybody's not equipped to go with you where you're going. So make sure, that you're confident. When you have your vision, you're confident in that vision. If people aren't on board, but they see that confidence in you and you keep moving forward, then they're going to come along and say, wait a minute, she knows what she's talking about. She knows where she's going. She's got her head on straight. She knows what's going on. So you be confident in that vision that was given to you, and remember, it's your vision. Nobody else is supposed to see it. Nobody else is supposed to know where you're going. That's your vision. It's not for anybody else to decide how you get there, when you get there, or where you're going. It's your vision. So you be confident in it, and know that, if you know that that's what God gave you to do, or that's what God told you to do, be confident in that, stand firm in that, and rest assured that if he gave you the vision, he's going to give you provision to get to where you're going.
All right, so we're going to say let's talk about it. All right, so we appreciate again those comments that came forth. So now if we're dealing with the naysayers, let's talk about then, what are some of the sacrifices that you may have to make in the process of reaching success?
You may have to sacrifice family members. You may have to sacrifice some friends. I've had to do that. I've had to walk away from some family members, love them from a distance, because they weren't positive to me. They weren't encouraging me. They weren't going where I was going. When at times when I was raising my son, some of the things, the way that I chose to raise him, they didn't think that was the way it should be done, and you're not doing things right. But I knew what I had to do, and I knew what I was supposed to do as a single parent on how I needed to raise him. So I had to drop off some people, and as Vora said, love people from a distance. We may live in the same town, but we may never see each other that often, but on holidays. But, that doesn't mean I don't love you. That just means I have to, just drop back and do what I'm supposed to do, because those are some things that you may lose. You may lose family. You may lose friends. Sometimes you may lose, jobs. You may lose money. But you have to, know that, what you want in life and can stay focused and know that there's an end to, everything that you start out to do.
All right. So again, as we're talking about what are some sacrifices that you may have to make in the process of reaching success?
I think I agree with Stacy that you will probably have to sacrifice relationships. You will probably have to sacrifice some friendships. But I think if you are truly talking about success, the real thing and the primary thing that you will sacrifice is time. You will no longer, if you are serious about your grind, if you are serious about what it is that you want to do and where you want to be, and that's successful, you won't have time to watch TV. You're not going to know what happened on Basketball Wives. You're not going to know what the latest tea is on Love and Hip Hop, because I don't have a clue. I don't know. But you're going to be focused on that vision, that thing inside you that you know God has purposed you to do, that place and that level that you know is where you're supposed to be. It's time in that is going to get you there. I'm not going to say no names, but there's a particular young lady that I know who is a business owner. And if I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I can't get to sleep, I know I can just dial a number or hit her on Facebook and be like, what's up? Because she up on her grind. That's what she do. And so I learn from her. If I have an extra minute, it's how do I get better? How do I do something better? How do I invent a better system that helps someone else? What do I do to take my business to the next level? So for me, what you will really sacrifice if you are successful is time. It will look so different than anything that you have ever seen in your life. Somebody will say, let's go to the movies. A little simple thing that you used to do without question, you can't do it because you're working towards success.
That's good. So again, these are just nuggets, y'all, that we've been able to share with you tonight amongst our panelists here, that just to encourage you, or how we can help you to become a better you. So again, as we're finding drive, you made me lose my train of thought here. So what again are some of the sacrifices that you have to make in the process in reaching success?
Time, like Carolyn said, sleep. Sometimes you have to sacrifice changing dates, things to do with your children. Because you have to understand that the sacrifices you're doing, the reason why you're reaching success is to make a better life for you and your children. The biggest thing is you have to sacrifice going through transition and changing your mindset, where you currently are, thinking different. Okay, if I'm reaching for success, I don't have time to be wasting time, sitting on the phone gossiping. I don't have time to be hearing about who's sleeping with who, because my focus is on success and what I need to be doing to get there. It's a lot of changes that you have to sacrifice, and it's as if you also almost have to transition to a new person to get your mind, to get your lifestyle changed so that you can reach success. You have to sacrifice money. You can't go shopping, buying shoes all the time if you gotta take that money and put it in your vision to build your business. There's money, that's the biggest thing. A lot of people, well, I wanna do this, I wanna start this business. Well, a lot of people don't understand that you gotta do that I word, which is invest. You have to invest, and when you do that, you're investing in yourself. So you have to sacrifice money, how you're spending money, and change.
All right, so let's talk about it. All right, we're going to go to the audience to open up the floor for questions. I understand we have a question over here in this area, right along in here, back here on this row. So we're going to be able to give you an opportunity if you have a question you want to address the panelists. Again, we have Ms. Yvonne in the red. In the middle, we have Dr. Caroline Caldwell, and then Ms. Stacy Thompson on the end here.
Thanks so much for doing this and taking your time out. I just want to go back a couple, it's still on the same topic of success. We can go back to that statement about the naysayers and the vision. You also have to be careful to not to surround yourself with yes men. And I wanted to ask you guys, you know, 'cause you're successful, what do you think about that? Because I know, you know, if you have somebody that's always telling you yeah, and they know you're dead wrong, that's detrimental to your success as well. So if you could just give me some more insight about, you know, dealing with the flip side of somebody that's always gonna tell you yes all the time. Anybody wanna go first?
For me, I surround myself with people. If I know where I'm going, I try to get as close to a person that's in that position that I can. I learn everything I can from them. So if they're the one telling me yes, I know it's right. If I'm hearing from somebody that's behind me and doesn't have, you know, I'm not trying to say I'm above everybody, but if you're back here and I'm already here trying to get there and you're back here, what can you tell me? You can't tell me anything. So I find who, you know, I find that person that I want to be like, or my mentor, my shero, and I look at her and I find, you know, I let that be my yes man. I want our yes woman. I want to make sure that, you know, the person that's, you know, someone that's feeding me information or pouring or sowing into my life or pouring into my life is someone that has, you know, what I desire to have. I want to make sure I'm getting, being informed by the right person and not misinformed.
I'm going to take that a different way. And I'm going to say that it's okay for people to support you. And it's okay to accept that support. But I think you have to check yourself. Because you know when someone is telling you yes, and it probably should be a no. It's not information or situation that more likely is new to you. And when we end up being surrounded by those yes people, I would venture to say 9 times out of 10, that's your ego needing to be surrounded by people who are yes, yeah, or you know, kissing your butt or whatever, and you know that's what's going on. So it's not so much them; it's why do I need that, or what am I getting out of that? Not why, but what am I getting out of that? What does that do for me? How am I using that? And so you really have to check yourself when you're surrounded by nothing but people who say yes, people who never challenge you, people who never check you, when you know you should be checked. Who gonna check me, boo, right? The first person who checks you should be you.
This is a good question to ask a person that's always yes, yes, yes. So tell me, why do you think I should? So if you were me and you say yes and you would do it, tell me why you would do it. See, you know, ask them questions, and most of the time if they just like, then you know that they're just, you know, saying yes, do this, do that, and they're not really trying to even look at the benefits of why you should even, you know, take that route. And also, like Carolyn said, you know, you have to check yourself, because you get that feeling in your spirit like, wait a minute, every time I ask this person something, they always got to say yes. Why you push me out there? Then a lot of times that person just sit back and ain't doing nothing. You go and do something, you hollering telling me yes, yes, what you doing? So just, you know, ask them, why would you do it then if you're so quick to holler yes? And see if they got an answer for you.
That's good. That's good. All right, we have another question from the audience that's written anonymously, but the question is, how do you work with a person that you know is sabotaging you? How do you work with a person that you know is sabotaging you?
Let's clarify it. Like y'all on a project together, you gotta finish your job. And you had no choice, but you can't back out of it. But you know for a fact they're trying to sabotage
Yes. One of the things that we need to recognize is that the only real thing that you have power over, the only real thing that you have control over is you. Okay? So you can't control what that person says. You can't control the backstabbing that they do. You can't control any of that. But you can control your integrity. You can't control your temper. And you can become a very detailed, very organized, very specific person. When you're dealing with somebody who's a saboteur, you have to be on your game. And that means that anything you say should be said via email. Anything you say should be written down, signed, CC'd.
Yes.
Exactly. Blind copy for sure. Because you already know that they're going to take your information and skew it. So you want to make sure to go extra, be extra and above board, because they're going to say, well, why are you CCing my supervisor, my supervisor's supervisor? You don't have to answer that question. You can simply say, this is my mode of operandi. This is how I do business. And again, make sure that you check yourself. Be very detailed. Do what you have to do and keep it done.
I was pretty much going to say the same thing. Just make sure you document everything that you do. If you have someone that's sabotaging you, or you feel like someone's sabotaging you, or as I like to call it, throwing you under the bus, keep up with, everything that you do, every conversation you have. You might want to even make a note after you leave the conversation. This day we talked about this. Have your notes, have your, notes to back up everything that you've done, so that, if something does hit the fan, you can back yourself up and you're covered.
All right, so that's some good news, y'all. Give it up for our panelists as they're continuing to address these questions as we're Let's Talk About It. Y'all having a good time? Y'all learning something? Are they making sense? It's something they're saying that you can relate to with even maybe something you're going through today? Well, that's what it's all about. We're hoping that some of these nuggets that you're getting tonight, and you can be able to take back with you. Again, I do have a couple questions that we're going to just continue to ask the panelists that have come from the audience. But just for the sake of time, we're just going to just address individual unless someone is pressing to say something. Since, Stacey, you have the mic, we'll ask this question to you. How do you tap into your purpose, and where do you start?
You start with prayer. You have to have that conversation with God, because that's where you find your purpose. That's who gives you your purpose. For me, to know what my purpose is, that's when I know that I'm working in my purpose or walking in my purpose, I get the best feeling. I'm fulfilled, I'm happy, I'm doing something that I know that I would do, and no one would ever have to acknowledge me doing it, no one would ever have to pay me to do it, and I'm doing, I just know. I used to say years ago, how will I know when how do I know when I have my purpose? How do I know if I'm operating in my purpose? But now it's just a no-brainer to me. It's just, every day that I wake up, I have, I've been blessed to work on my, my job, and I work in, reproductive health care, and we do a lot of advocacy work around reproductive health care. And as she said before, I worked with young people. That's my purpose. I was a teen parent, I was a young mother. I've experienced a lot of the things that I work with young women with and mentor young women with. I've walked that walk. I've walked through those things. I've experienced those things. So that's how I know it's my purpose. When I'm able to, speak to someone and say, I've been there, I've done that. I received welfare. I've stood in line, to get a welfare check. But then I've also, that same DSS office that I stood in line at, I was a supervisor at that DSS office. So the people that worked at the front desk, I was there having meetings with my whole department, and you still sitting at the front desk, the very people that talk down to me. So that's how I know I'm in my purpose, when I can see that, total 360 of me, me being turned around and my life being turned around.
All right. That's good. That's good. So our next question, Dr. Caroline, we'll have you address this one. What is the best ways to develop inner peace from anxiety or stress? So what is the best ways to develop inner peace?
I'm going to say, and kind of piggyback off of Stacey, that I find peace through prayer. I think that the Holy Spirit and being connected centers you. There's the natural and there's the supernatural. And we all know that there's a whole lot of chaos in the natural. We worry about our jobs, we worry about the people who are around us, we worry about our relationships. All of that's in the natural. There is peace in the supernatural, in that once you connect, truly connect to God, And I mean have that spiritual relationship where it's personal. And I'll try to give you the cliff notes, but I had just separated and was in the midst of an awful divorce. Literally, I was depressed, I really couldn't function, and I just could not find any peace. And it occurred to me that I did not truly pray, that I did not let my soul touch God. And I realized for me that I wanted that process to be physical. So I literally found a company online that built family altars. And I had an altar built, it was something like $200, it wasn't a whole bunch of money. But anyway, I had an altar built in my bedroom. And I made the prayer cloth for it, I made the pillow myself because I, again, wanted that connection. And for me, I began to meditate and I began to pray. And it was physical for me. Like it was knowing in my mind that I was preparing myself to talk to God, that I was preparing myself to develop a relationship and develop what I like to call a sensitivity of spirit. There are no more burning bushes. You know, there's no more angels coming down from heaven smacking you upside the head saying this is what God said. We have to develop that sensitivity of spirit so that we can hear and be guided and find that peace. So for me, it's that spiritual connection. It's seeking that inward connection where peace truly lies in the supernatural.
That's good. All right, well, our next question, after this question, we're going to take a break. So that'll give you an opportunity to visit the kitchen, visit the bar, give our panelists an opportunity to regroup. But this question, Ms. Yvora, will be for you. How did you juggle being a single parent, attending school, and maintaining your career?
First of all, I had to set myself a schedule, to be honest. And I had to make sure that I managed my time properly. Going back to, you know, what I was saying earlier about you have to look at certain things and know this is, you know, is this me spending my time doing this? Is this helping me grow? And am I being productive, you know, to be able to balance being a mom? You know, balance being, you know, being successful and, you know, growing my business and vision. So time management is what is very important that you have to juggle, because not even that, you need to even manage the time your next day ahead of you. Because if you just jump out of bed and you don't know what's going on, your whole day messed up. Not when you have kids and, you know, you're trying to focus on your career and you have so much going on. So it's very important to, you know, get strict on your time and watch out what you're doing, how you're spending your time. Because you get 24 hours in a day, we all do. And it's a day that we can never get back. So either you're going to waste it or you're going to do something productive on that day to help for a better tomorrow and for a better future.
That's good. Well, y'all come on and give a round of applause for our panelists, Ms. Yvora Bentley, Dr. Caroline Caldwell, and Ms. Stacy Thompson. And we've been Let's Talk About It. All right, so at this time we're going to take a break. So you all welcome to the... So again, we have the lovely Ms. Yvora Bentley as our panelist, Dr. Caroline, as well as Ms. Stacy Thompson. So as we continue to go forth with these questions, and once again, it's just being able to share comments, their thoughts, their wisdom, their passion from their heart to be able to give you nuggets that can help you to become a better you. This is what this is all about. Again, we do have index cards available if you'd like to jot down some questions or you want to raise your hand at some point to be able to get in on the conversation, let us know. So as we're going to the next part of our discussion, let's talk about how can bitterness and unforgiveness affect your future. So how can bitterness and unforgiveness affect your future?
When bitterness and unforgiveness is in your heart, one of the very important things that it affects is how you love, how you receive love. You can be have so much bitterness in your heart from someone that has hurt you. And so when that person comes along that really tries to love you, you don't know how to receive that. And you push them away because you're hurt. And that just goes back to hurt people hurt other hurt people. And that is why it's very important for you to not carry that in your heart, to forgive. Like it was stated earlier, forgiveness is for you. It's for you to heal, to be able to move forward. I mean, you don't want someone that comes along that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with end up being pushed away and even leaving your life because you have held on to other people hurting you. So it's very important not to hold that bitterness and unforgiveness inside of you, because you will not know how to love correctly, and you will not know how to receive love, and you won't be able to move forward from that past situation because you're so bitter and you're not forgiving. Like again, it's for you. It's very important. And I know we all want to know what it's like to love for real and how to love others and receive love. That's why we have to heal from that, because we don't want to walk around with so much hurt, because we're going to continue to hurt other people from being hurt.
So again, the question is, Dr. Caroline, how can bitterness and unforgiveness affect your future?
Bitterness basically stunts your growth, literally. Think of a flower that needs to grow. What does it need? It needs sunlight, it needs water. If you're really into planting, you're going to put in some fertilizer. Bitterness is like sucking all of the life out of that flower. Bitterness is going to cover that flower and dry its roots up so it can never get any water. Bitterness is going to shade that flower so that sun rays can never touch it. And when you put the fertilizer on it, it's going to burn it. So bitterness basically keeps you from moving forward. It keeps you from enriching your spirit. It keeps you from enriching your mind. And again, we've already really covered forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. If you don't forgive, then you are not free. You might as well add some bars, a guard, because you've imprisoned yourself in whatever that thing is, whatever that thought is, whatever that experience is, that's keeping you bitter and keeping you incapable of forgiving. So free yourself. There's an old, I'm really old, so I'm going to say this, most I probably have never even heard it, but free your mind and your you-know-what will follow. So that's what you have to do with bitterness and unforgiveness, is you literally have to let it go so that you are free.
That's good. So again, Ms. Stacy, the question is, how can bitterness or unforgiveness affect your future?
As both of the ladies have said, bitterness, to me, when you're focused on what happened to you and what's going on, and you're sitting there and you're bitter about that, you take your focus off of what you're trying to do. You take your focus off of your goals. You take your focus off of the success that you're trying to get to, and you're halted. And as I said before, you're just stopped in your tracks, focusing on that, and you become bitter. And that bitterness, not only does it, stop you from, reaching your vision and reaching your goals, but it also can cause, physical sickness in your body. That bitterness can lead to stress, which can lead to, all types of physical illnesses, as far as just, having depression, having, stomach issues, having blood pressure issues, having, a lot of issues that you bring on yourself because you're focusing on that bitterness. And you continue to focus on that bitterness and try to question why, and continue to get angry. It's just going to lead to anger and more anger. And a lot of times, as I said before, it just turns into, health issues that could lead to, your death. So you definitely want to, just let it go. Let it go.
That's good. So let's talk about it. Yes.
what do you feel about spousal support and having spousal support when you're doing this type of business and you're trying to make it to where you gotta go, but you don't have that support at home?
That's good.
Thank y'all for your time.
Y'all want to give it up again for Pat Dow. So again, make sure y'all check out the next play, December 21st, River Tech Auditorium. But again, Dr. Caroline, the spotlight's on you as we're talking about it. When you don't have that spousal support, what do you do?
I think I heard two questions, if I'm not mistaken, so let me break them down so that I can answer them appropriately. The first one is spousal support important? That was the first thing I think I heard you say. The second one is, what do you do when you lack spousal support and you are working on a vision or you're working on something that you think is important? Yes? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, spousal support is extremely important. If we think about what a marriage is, whether it's common law, whether it's legal, it's two people blending into one. So you can't have one going one way and one going the other way and it be effective or that it move forward. So spousal support is key to success. Now, if you are starting a business, I think from all of the business owners that have talked, we already know that that's major. It's major transition, it's major sacrifice, it's major change, and it's extremely time consuming. So you need your partner to be able to understand those principles, be able to transition with you, be flexible enough to make the changes that you need in order to get to where you're trying to go. So if you don't have that, what do? Communicate, 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 communicate. You have got to keep talking about it. Not yelling about it, not screaming about it, not nagging about it, but you have got to talk about what you need, how you need it, when you need it, where you need it, and what you need it to look like. And you have to continue to talk about that until you get your partner's ear. You feel me? Okay? And the only way that happens is with communication. So many times we talk at each other. We don't talk to each other. Because if we talk to each other, part of that being in a conversation is active listening. That means that I'm not just waiting for my turn to talk. That's why I'm quiet, because I'm waiting for my turn to talk, which means I haven't really heard anything that you said. I've not processed it because I already know what it is I want to say. And I'm waiting because you're in my way because I got these words I need to say, so I missed everything that you said. So sometimes we have to allow our partners to grow into active listening. And how do we do that? With communication, communication, communication. Gotta keep talking about it.
Good. All right, so we're gonna do what? Communicate. Communicate. As being CEO and founder of Jazzy Fashions Entertainment. So my passion, you know, for those of you who don't know, is children. You know, I got a passion for fashion and I love working with the youth. So incorporating them together, I, of course, founded Jazzy Fashion. So one thing that I would say too is a lot of people look at the outward appearance and don't have an idea about my heart. You would look at me not knowing a thing about me. A lot of people judge from appearance. So what I try to instill in these children is to be able to feel good about who you are in your own skin. That while they're walking and rocking their own fashion, that I'm reading a bio about them. Something you wouldn't learn just in judging in the appearance, because you know, you wouldn't know this child walking down through that aisle just made straight A's or never missed a day in school or want to be a lawyer when they grow up. Like with me, you have no idea about the Stephanie if you've not met me other than what you see tonight. But again, like I say, you don't really know the glory behind my story.
That's right.
And you don't really know about the Jesus that really lives on the inside of me, that I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. You wouldn't know that if I didn't tell you, but you know, I try to walk that walk too, that it'll line up with what I'm saying. But I felt my help coming on right there.
Realized is, I finally, had a revelation about, what God has for me is for me. And if God has something for me, it's not the same thing that he has for my sister. So nobody can get ahead of me because they don't have what he has for me. So if we can realize that and realize what he has for me is mine, what he has for her is hers, and just support each other and stop having that me mentality and have that we mentality. We as a people can get so much farther in life if we would just take on that mentality.
That's good. Thank you for that. All right, well, we're going to get ready so y'all can address that in your final thoughts. Just know we have 3 minutes. Have y'all had a good time though tonight? Your thinking may not be as someone else's opinion. So again, we do appreciate everyone taking an opportunity to ask questions, make a comment. So, just what the comment was just made, look what it's done for our audience. So we're going to be able to continue to talk about it. Make sure you like us on Facebook for the group Let's Talk About It group, and make your comments there as far as what we talked about tonight. Y'all give our panelists a round of applause. But again, as we begin to close out tonight with your final thoughts, with everything that we've talked about, Dr. Caroline, let's give, I know you sound like you're in wait. Let's give Deborah the mic, and we'll give her an opportunity to give her final comments tonight. 3 minutes, let's go.
First of all, what I want to say is when you're thinking about your vision, and reaching your dreams and goals, if you think big, you're going to go big. If you think little, you're going to go little. Do not get boxed in on where you currently are, okay? Because I know that we serve a God that is so great that even though people think great was so little that no one here could get to where Tyler Perry or Oprah, that's a lie. I'll be one of them, I'll tell you, because I'm very determined and passionate about what I do, about what I know God has called me to do. And when she stated in my bio that my motto is determination plus confidence equals success. And what that is, that goes behind as far as you discovering purpose. And know that purpose also lines up with that P word called passion. And think about it, what would you do for free?
Yes, right.
That's where your purpose lies. And know that determination, be determined in discovering that and get to where you have drawn your vision out for you to get to, and be confident in you, regardless if no one else believes in you, because God was confident enough to place that inside of you, and that's where the success comes to, you discovering your purpose and you're making your vision come to pass.
That's good, that's good.
I'm going to just say that you can do and you can be anything you set your mind to. Anything. All it takes is determination and planning. Those who fail to plan to fail. It's that simple. So if you want to do it, you can do it. It doesn't matter where you are. It's your hustle that's going to define your success. It's your grind that's going to define your success. It's the networking that you do. Let me tell you something. Don't let nobody tell you that there's no money in Greenville. There's tons of money in Greenville. Tons of money in Greenville. There are nonprofits that are filing 990s at $25 million a year. New Mind Health and Care will be there. In Greenville. Believe that. Said that today. So it doesn't matter where you are. That does not define your success. You define your success. And the next thing I'm going to say is develop a personal brand. Develop who you are so that when people see you, they already know what you stand for. They already know what they're going to get. They don't have to question the quality. They don't have to question the quantity, and they don't have to question the integrity, because your brand will speak before you even come into the room. And finally, I'm going to say, my mantra, if you watch my couch sessions on Instagram, let love be your brand.
Y'all need some testosterone on that.
Let's talk about it.
Not tonight.
Venus versus Mars.
Because there are successful black male businessmen in this town.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping it up, Miss Stacy Thompson will let her give her final thoughts.
As Stephanie was reading my bio, my mantra is, never allow anyone to define who you are. You know who you are, and you walk in, who you know you are. We were talking about, being from small towns. I came from a small town. I grew up in Seneca, which is, yes, which is a lot smaller than this. I grew up, with a family that, didn't have that popular name in town. My, parents didn't have money. I didn't come, for money. But, and I shared my background about, being on welfare, being on food stamps. Looking at me and where I came from, I shouldn't be anything. I should have 4 or 5 kids. I should still be on welfare. I should have children that are in and out of jail. That's not me. That's not me. I have a son that's 22. He's in college. He's never been in trouble, never been kicked out of school, serving God just as strong as I am. So you have to define who you are. You have to know what you want in life and go after it, and don't stop chasing it. Don't let anything distract you, and don't let anything knock you off from where you're trying to go.
That's good. All right, have y'all enjoyed Let's Talk About It? Well, again, thank you all so much. Leslie, would you like to come up and give some final thank yous just for everyone being able to come out and be a part of this very first episode of Let's Talk About It? Woo! Good job.
I first want to say thank you, Joshua Knuckles. I love him so much. Thank you, DJ Tay. I love him so much. From the bottom of my heart, they're the best in the whole wide world. I love them. And thank you to everyone that took the time out to come out to support this positive movement. I'm so excited for the next live panel discussion. It will be Venus versus Mars, and we're gonna get it crunk in here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Jerry Springer / Maury Povich / all of it. So I'm gonna keep you posted on that, and make sure you tell a friend to bring a friend and come out and enjoy.